welcome. Jupiter hour. Okay. What up, what up, what up, my loves? I am Goddess High Priestess Empress Abdul up there. We gonna check on what the vibe is and take it from there with the cosmic guidance. Yeah. Yes, Saturn's still in retrograde. That'll be to the 15th of November. While it's in retrograde, it's a re-immersion of spiritual purification. So this is a rise of old karmic residues that may be tied to victimhood, martyrdom, emotional repression, and ancestral grief resurface to be cleared. Then November 15th, Saturn stations direct. This is a time that soul contracts are revised after deep inner reflection, allowing you, as long as you allow yourself, to be ready to recommit, or for your first time, for some of you, committing. I feel as though the recommitment would be you realigning with the highest version of yourself within the physical vessel and committing to things with higher boundaries, committing to things with the foundation of having higher boundaries and spiritual clarity. All right. Then Saturn will go and enter its journey into Aries on the 14th of February of next year. So from the 15th of November, it'll be going from out of its retrograde phase of it entering Pisces and back into Aries, and it re-enters Aries on the 14th of February. So Saturn will be in Pisces direct November 15th until the 13th, 14th, when it re-enters Aries. When Saturn re-enters Aries, which is after it being in Pisces, obviously, this is a clearing of Pisces karmas. Okay, so this would have to do with anything that may have been residing in the unseen realms or blocking you from tuning into your imagination due to some sort of old karmic residue that's tied to victimhood, martyrdom, and emotional repression. So repressing your emotions just not to come across to another as a burden if you decide to express yourself. Because in those cases, when people are repressing the way that they feel to not be a burden towards someone, they become a bigger burden first towards themselves and still become a burden to others around them by first internalizing or reflecting or feeling as though that they are a burden because they can't express themselves. This is why majority of the collective, don't even want to say majority, whomever that may be, lives predominantly within their root and sacral chakras and unable to fully step into the essence of the solar plexus, the third chakra, which has to do with your expression, to then tune in and dwell within the heart space. That's where you'll be able to manifest and claim things that you're manifesting at a much higher rate. You know, when your feelings are being repressed, and the secret to claiming what it is that you're calling in is to feel it. So if your feelings are repressed, so will too what it is that you're calling in, causing delays. You know what I mean? Greetings, greetings, greetings. So yeah, that's the beauty of this here new moon in Virgo, the fact that there are two of them, while the south node, which has to do with past life and past life of this life or past life in one's life in terms of your soul having this journey. The beauty of having these two new moons and throughout the full cycle of Virgo, because the first one was at 0 degrees, and the second one, which is the solar eclipse, is going to be at 29 degrees. So you got the full spectrum of the south node energy, once again having to do with old habits that are connected to a past life cycle, whether this life or another life. Just clearing that out. And the way to clear that out is through going towards the North Node, which is Pisces, which means surrender. So there are several things that one can surrender, but the whole gist of surrendering is to allow situations to go through its process and not feeling as though holding on to it is gonna make the process better. It may not be easy to let go of certain situations, but it's necessary, in order for the cycle to have its completion. A baby can't be within the womb space for a year. It has this time period before it, comes out, at least 9 months. Anything beyond that, it puts it into a stressful situation. You know what I mean? But let's see, what's the surrender message here real quick. Surrender your need to always be right about an unhealthy relationship. Okay. So there you have it. This could be the reason, the foundation as to why there's miscommunication or arguments in relationships, because the communication is not necessarily coming from the heart, and it's more so coming from a survival tactic or having to defend oneself. Now, one can state to another the love that they have for them, but one can only love another as much as they are allowing themselves to be loved by themselves and to do things that reflect loving oneself. So I'm hearing this as if, but if represents a condition. If is the condition. If is the condition that shows itself to you based on the way you feel. Because something could be presented to you completely different than what it is that you're feeling. But because you feel that way about it, that's what it is. Where someone can say, for example, someone can tell another person that they can be trusted, but the person person A is telling person B that they can be trusted. But person B doesn't fully trust themselves, so it doesn't matter what person A says. Sometimes it doesn't even matter what person A shows them in actions. Especially for a thorough acceptance that B can trust A. B can only trust A if B is doing all that they're supposed to do that reflects them trusting themselves. If there are situations in terms of person B feeling an absence of trust because of their first dynamic of being nurtured, and the way they were raised didn't really, you know, depict someone who has a high level of trust and properly utilize it. If person B is going through situations that prevents them from fully tapping into trusting themselves and others, it doesn't matter what person A does or shows them. Because if, which is the condition, B's if has to do with the way that they're feeling, which is causing them to perceive the current situation other than what it actually is. I felt a little, feels as though I'm talking to someone. I mean, generally, yes, I'm talking to y'all, but that was given, that was given one-on-one. Listen, okay. They're showing you all that that they can show you based on the way they show what you are looking for them to show you. They're showing you as much as they show themselves. This is how people get exhausted in connections. Knight of Pentacles. I heard overanalyze. An overanalyzer. Page of Swords. Yeah, that message was directly to someone here. You got your confirmation. It's 411 on the screen. So, the need to be right about something is prolonging decision making. Literally prolonging decision making. It could even be blocking a person's perception when it comes to building their legacy on solid grounds because of what's being held onto tightly for the need to be right. This is literally person A, person B being defensive, even if person A takes the time to show that this can be worked on. Because it was person A that was telling B and showing B all that they, you know, what it means to trust. But as long as B is in this state of being defensive, possibly always having to be right about something, and in doing so not being able to see the truth of the matter, the cause and effect of a situation to really come to a solution, until then it would constantly be a back and forth. Is coming through as this energy here has been exhausting itself. It's come to a point of exhausting oneself and getting someone to see through words and actions, but one can only see and hear as much as they're desiring to or willing to. But one thing's for sure, this is giving some past life energy. That's what's coming through here with this Six of Cups. That the relationship itself is a gift. Why is this relationship a gift? Saturn in Pisces. You could be someone who is experiencing your Saturn return. But also, with Saturn in Pisces now, and it'll be going direct on the 15th. Everything that is sitting in this unseen realm about your situation is coming to the surface. It solidifies itself. It becomes more practical and something you can touch, possibly, you know, most certainly when Saturn goes direct into Pisces, because when it's direct, it's now coming from, let's say, the phase of reflection, and now it's being shown or projected in your reality of what was unseen. Now you're going to be able to see it. But you should have much more solid boundaries at this point. You know? What up, Judge Joe? What up, my love? And we have Scorpio and Pisces here. So, yeah, literally October into March. Okay, October into March. Whatever experience you encounter in your reality that has you feeling as though you're moving from a victim state in terms of, why did this happen to me? Instead of seeing the gift of the situation where you're able to see it for you, just remember this message that all of these things are coming to the surface to be cleared, not to relive it. Because you learned quite a bit here within the past 2 years, that's for sure. And with Saturn, this is a Saturn in Pisces card. That's, yeah, certainly indicating that. Either you have just experienced your first Saturn return, or you have already experienced your Saturn return, but you're getting another dose of it in a sense because it's Pisces, and Pisces embodies all, 12 signs. And there's, as long as you're here on this planet and Saturn is in Pisces, it's an opportunity for a spiritual cleanup of past life residue. Any type of addictive patterns, anything that has to do with escapism, illusion, codependency, things of that nature. No more spiritual bypassing. This is the dissolving phase, the final dissolution phase of karmic contracts. So on a grander scale of things, the way this appears, literally, and disappears. It appears and disappears through acknowledgement of just 555, of just noticing this is a part of an energetic, emotional loop that one has been tied to for 15 generations, if you want to say that, with the 555 and Saturn Capricorn vibes. That's 15. This is why, so many are going to see quite a few changes when it comes to their career path, what they're, choosing to do as a career. No longer doing things from a space of, you got to work hard to be successful. When you don't. You really don't. Actually, you don't even gain success through working hard. You become exhausted from working hard. But that's how advanced one is, but it's until you realize that's how advanced one can be. That's the only time that whole aspect for oneself would change, where you're able to see that. Because breath is life, life is the breath. When you're working hard and you're exhausting yourself, your heart rate is even moving a lot faster. So things aren't having its full inhale, exhale phase in a sense. So it's as if one is constantly working through situations on fumes, instead of first having the moment to process the action, the thought one is about to have, in order to make the proper decisions, as far as, is that the thought pattern you're going to go towards? Is that the action you're going to take? Is it Is it highly beneficial? Not mediocre, lukewarm beneficial. Is it highly beneficial? Is it going to allow you to evolve more in connection to your higher self? Or is it going to be something that you're reaching for your higher self? And you don't even have to reach for it either, because it already is you. It's very similar to the notion of the heart doesn't open or close. It's whether one decides to get into alignment or out of alignment with it. Shit moves smoother for you when you tap in with the heart chakra, for real. When you stay connected into that alignment, things move a lot smoother. Even in situations where it's capable, it's easy for one to crash out. When you are centered, grounded, connected to your heart chakra, even those situations won't, I'm not gonna say you won't feel anything, but the feeling you'll get will be more that of an alchemist, one who is aware of how to transmute the energy, even if it's against them. Because that which is against them, it allows you to see and utilize that strength that you may possibly not even use any other moment. In terms of moving wiser through situations where it's easy for a person to be reactive. What is the gift? No, that's right. Straight up. The Star card. Wow. Wow. That's deep. The gift is an opportunity to heal from the sorrow, pains, and regrets that are literally within the root. Mars and Scorpio, 5 of Cups. It's okay. This type of healing, revelation, is when someone recognizes the emotional loops they have been allowing themselves to be in, and finally make the proper decision where they're no longer investing into that loop any longer, and doing it with so much poise and grace to bring light to all of this unknown essence or the shadow essence, and integrating that because it's a part of one's power. This is it's on some when if okay, this would be if somebody recognizes an emotional loop, right? And they are the one to receive some form of inheritance where they are well taken care of in at least 15 generations thereafter them, minimum. But accepting themselves to be in this emotion, in that emotional loop, it pulls from their energy to even be in alignment towards that inheritance. So once they realize that, this is this is on some, yeah, ancient prosperity, ancient abundance of wealth. Mm-hmm. So on some, not even the resources and the wealth of this generation has even been utilized because one is still able to utilize the ancient wealth, because that's how abundant it is. But that's the gift that one receives when you get out of this victimhood, martyrdom syndrome, which takes you out the emotional loops. Very intriguing, I'll say that. Yeah. Wow. Major arcana after major arcana. It's a lot of vulnerability that's required, as you can see that these here ain't got no clothing on. A lot of vulnerability is required. Vulnerability is required. So be real with yourself so you can make the proper decision, the lovers. And then the Two of Cups with the Magician and the Sun. Wow, that's something serious. That is a beautifully manifested divine union because it's a reflection of the divine union within oneself first. Mirror on the wall. I keep hearing that song in my head now. Bruno Mars and Weezy. Let's look at this. Page of Swords. Well, there's that. Wow. Major decision has to be made on this play over here. Now, okay. The collective that's watching this message right now. Okay. 605, 11. You are calling towards yourself. Some are in the phase. That part of yourself is what has risen to the surface as the residue that is to be cleared out. It shows itself to you first so you can recognize emotionally, mentally, as well as physically when it shows up in your reality as something that you can touch. So you can have full recognition of, okay, you understand it now. And remember, understanding is the personal affair of your awareness of what stands under your heart chakra, your awareness of your root, your stability, your basic sense of trust, security, your sacral, your sexuality, sensuality and creativity, desires, and your solar plexus. The purest form of joy that comes through your self-expression. So first the opposite shows up, okay, as an image of this is just the residue of what's left. There's a whole blue jay outside right now. So some of you are finally utilizing your voice, or no longer allowing anyone to restrict you from doing so, or recognizing situations where you have allowed your voice to be suppressed. Because in this age, one has to allow themselves for their voice to be repressed. And what allows that to happen is the sense of fear that has been programmed into one's psyche, as far as, if you say this is going to happen. Well, that which is going to happen only becomes your reality if you perceive it that way. Which is why it's important to first take a full inhale, exhale, full, nice, beautiful, deep breath before you decide you're going to do something, because the notion of doing it afraid should no longer even be a thing in this age of Aquarius. You should know as to the ways to move better and wiser. Get calm, cool, and collected before you look at your world from a high perspective, and not before you look at the world from a high perspective, but before you decide to make a decision that may not be in connection to your higher perspective, so that it can be connected to it, the higher perspective. Because one thing's for sure, whether one chooses to move in that manner of taking a moment to really place yourself in the seat of responding, one thing is for sure, you're going to create a reality regardless. But at most, choose the one you want to create. Knight of Pentacles. We are speaking to the alchemist within you, my loves. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect message to even come out, as it has to do with teamwork, ambition, structure. And also connecting with those that move the same. So that's also part of that relationship coming into one's life, is to show you where you are not moving, in the sense of this unhealthy relationship that is literally assisting you to surrender to your soul's path, by seeing the opposite. And for others of you, it's seeing things that are similar that you may not use as often as you should, to making it, making an effortless, beautiful journey of surrendering to your soul's path. Things to surrender from, that which is unhealthy. Surrender to that which is bringing forth ease, love, bliss, joy, and all that amazingness. Yeah. Surrender to what is, by surrendering to your intuition. All of that, what was just said, is literally showing up here. Surrender to what is, so you can surrender to your intuition in order to surrender to the beauty of the natural world. But first, surrender unhealthy relationships that cause you to defend yourself. Obviously, if you notice that you're in situations where you're constantly defending yourself, just know you're literally at a war, at a battle. Which is where it should make it a lot easier for you in terms of what decision you have to make when it comes to where this unhealthy relationship is. Because anytime if you are living more of a life where you are constantly having to defend yourself, it's because you're constantly in a situation where weakness is the foundation of it. Greetings, Pantera Soul Fan. Fatima, welcome, love. Surrender to prayer. Give yourself over completely to prayer. Give yourself over completely to your affirmations, what it is that you are calling in by claiming it. But also be mindful as to what it is that you're calling in, because you call in whatever it is that you are possibly obsessively thinking about when it comes to an unhealthy relationship. This doesn't even have to be people. This could even be an unhealthy relationship with your own thoughts and thinking patterns. But that's also what's changing too, with Uranus in retrograde in the sign of Gemini, ruled by Mercury. Gemini's ruled by Mercury, which has to do with your perception and the way that you express that internal reality with the world around you. Surrender negative thinking and surrender negative and obsessive thinking. Obsessive negative thinking. Now, they're showing me a roll of negatives. Wow. They're showing me a roll of negatives in the sense of, even if the picture wasn't developed into an actual photo, the image is still there. The image is still there, and because the image is still there, or the thinking pattern is still there, the experience continues to repeat itself or recycle itself through, even if the photo itself hasn't been fully developed. So an example of that would be, okay, you may not have a certain person, or you may no longer be in a certain environment, but as long as that thinking pattern is still there, where you're moving with people in your current reality the same way you used to move in the previous environment or around previous people, there isn't a change. Because the change has to happen within the pattern of one's thoughts first, though the reality reflects that. So in order to do so, surrender your ego and surrender denial, because this is what's blocking some of you from your creativity, or even tuning in and tapping into your creative abilities, where now all you're doing is possibly 9 to 5, doing the same thing day in and day out. Saturday and Sunday is your only moment where it's to yourself, and you're not really living a life, you're living a cycle. So in order to recreate that reality, you're going to have to get to the root of it. Take the seed with the root out of that soil, so you're no longer creating that pattern. And to do so, accept people and situations exactly as they are. Don't attempt to fix anyone but yourself. It's the only thing you can change out here, for real. So accept people and situations exactly as they are. Now, let's say you're someone who you're constantly to yourself, you're in this hermit mode, and that message in regards to accept people may not necessarily be for you in this part of your journey. Accept the situation. If it's something you want to change, you feel as though something's taking a little bit longer, accept the situation, the environment that you're in order for there to be enough airspace for the moment to go through its process of integration without negative obsessive thinking of, I don't want to fucking be here, I'm tired of this shit like that, shit of that sense, because again, the way the cosmos is set up, the collective, don't none of us got time out here to be making excuses. At all, man. At all. You all have the opportunity to change your reality. Just give yourself the ample air, time, space, moment to recognize, all right, if you keep thinking about the situation, I don't want to fucking do this no more. Why is this always, that's why it keeps happening. That's why it keeps happening. That's why it keeps happening. This is why it keeps being manifested. You know, Queen of Cups. Okay, Cancer energy showing up. Queen of Cups. Let's see here. Whoa. Libra, Justice. With 3 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Mercury and Cancer. Imbalance of emotions here, but tell me more about this. Oh, shit. Okay. Wow. Q, J, and A could be significant. Q, J, A, and C, the letter C, could be significant initials of a name here. What in the... See, that's... Okay, that's giving the Fool card energy. Some of you, your leap of faith has to do with you feel as though, oh, this relationship, we invested so much time and this shit is not, it's not relationshiping. It's not doing what it should do, and it's time to take that leap of faith and go in other directions, because that's the truth of unconditional love that you are being gifted to experience, but you're gonna have to release the past. Literally, Queen of Cups looking in this direction, while Source is on some, here's your W though. Cancer, Capricorn energy, 4th house, 10th house. Some of you, this really has to do with work. You're not emotionally fulfilled where you're at. And you have to stop making excuses for yourself in terms of, I'm going to stay here until I get to where I have to be. But doing it from a form of it being an excuse where you're not stepping outside of your comfort zone to truly do what emotionally fulfills you. Even if that means, you know, setting the appropriate schedule for yourself where, okay, you have this that you're doing, you know, you're being wise about the steps that you take, so you're not out there stranded in, you know what I'm talking about. Doing what you're supposed to do, but don't prolong doing what you're supposed to do by putting off what you truly desire to do. Put a proper schedule together where you are, you know, making sure that your heart is fulfilled. Your emotions are fulfilled with the things that you're doing. Look at the Sun card. Yo, what? Ooh. Ooh. What's in between your happiness, success, and wealth is whatever this miscommunication is. What's in between your happiness and your wealth and your actual support system is this level of miscommunication, battles and communications, constantly having to defend yourself. That takes you off an energetic alignment to your wealth and your happiness and joy, your wealth and joy. Okay. Oh, well, shit. Walking away from what no longer serves you to go through the proper transformation, to have mental clarity, despite the adversity, but connecting to your truth, which is through compassion. There goes the card of seeing your self-worth, but also looking at what you've invested in, and that one thing that is your true happiness, you haven't possibly put as much energy into it as you did to the others, where there was possibly a lack of reciprocity. Literally making a decision, making the proper judgment to literally be open to receiving this new cup that is here, that is your W. And there goes the 3 of Cups, moment of celebration. A moment of celebration within your own thinking, within your own thoughts, rather. Mercury and Cancer. Emotionally fulfilled thoughts. Yeah, so whatever Any situation that you're in that you're constantly defending yourself, that's what you have to let go of, because it's blocking a lot more than for some it's fucking with health, it's fucking with your bank account, well, your wealth, your foundation. Even if your reality seems, let's say you got an experience in your life right now in terms of your stability, you okay, but you're only okay because of whatever this situation that's still lingering in your frequency, where you still have to, hold on to, all right, let me move a certain way just so this won't come towards me, or I don't have to, just so I'll be ready to defend myself. Because unfortunately there's situations of that nature where people always feel as though they gotta be on their toes, on their P's and Q's. Not saying that you don't have to, but doing it from a point where it's of a low vibration. You gotta be real mindful as to accepting that as a part of your lifestyle. Balanced out emotions here, but you have to see the truth as to where it is that you're investing your love. Some of you, this unhealthy relationship could be with the masculine from your mother's side. Or the energy of keep playing mother for a grown ass man type of thing. Let me look more into this, because I noticed that this is blocking the root and the sacral. This is the root of where the fear and guilt is. Show me what that is. Let's see. Let's get some clarity here. Show me the root. Show me the root. Make it clear. Show me the root. Wow. Saturn. Restrictions. But now I'm still hearing that this was the gift, though. The experience was the gift. You may have felt as though you didn't have the tools or the resources to manage. But what you have right now is all that is required for you to handle the situation. What in the... Wait a minute. What's all these people doing here? With the Queen of Wands at the bottom. And she's the Queen of Aries looking at Capricorn and Cancer. That's 3 people in this card, though. Yeah, there's some type of mother-father-parent dynamic that is messing with someone's purpose. Well. The Tower. So someone's belief systems with the High Priestess. Yeah, you can have an unconventional way as far as, the way you connect with the Most High, the way you connect with the universe, the way you connect with Source, the way you connect with nothingness. There's a lot of savior complex I'm picking up from this over here for some reason. We're going to see what the reason is, though. That's wild for that to even be the combo that's showing up there. That's the emotional loop that when one gets out of it, they connect to their abundance that has to do with a divine union. Look at that. It's fairy tale. Speaking on being on one's toes, repetition is the first word that popped out. A balancing act. Pursuit of the arts. Yeah. It's on some, you were gifted the perfect opposition that placed you to go deeper within yourself, to truly connect to your life force, to see clearly through different dimensions. What? Yeah. Toxic situation or relationship in a web of control. Certain things panned out unexpectedly, but that was the sole agreement you made in order to have a breakthrough when it comes to yourself, your identity. Identity having to do with anything that you say after I am. So all of this was perfectly aligned to put you through the transformation of being mindful as to the way you identify yourself to yourself. Because one thing's for sure is that you're one who has quite a bit of revelations and premonitions even. You can have quite a bit of prophetic dreams of seeing what's supposed to be unexpected, but because you see it in the way your visions come to you, it's not as unexpected to you. But now I'm getting a sense of someone in terms of not being able to surrender unhealthy relationship is wanting to protect someone, even though you have awareness of this level of insidious acts that happen, that you first become aware of before it actually does happen. Person of Earth. Virgo, Capricorn. 6-10. Gemini could also be significant. 6-10 is 10 of Swords card, if I'm not mistaken. Around there. Which has to do with massive levels of betrayal. But a new dawn is rising. Let's see, low vibration. Fishing pole. Someone's always looking. Okay, it's either someone is protecting somebody to prevent themselves from seeing the truth, and allowing themselves to be entertained by someone always looking for something incorrect to happen. Stalling is what I'm hearing. Stalling. Self-reliance. Self-improvement. Extending oneself. Virgo. Capricorn. For this Virgo Capricorn combo ain't no joke. Let me tell you that. This could be this could be okay. The final parts of, let's say, what you are having to surrender in matters of unhealthy relationship patterns, it could be playing out right now for you at work. Because it's on some, this was the lesson you were supposed to have the tools, the courage, the strength, the mindset to be able to handle. But something shifted in a way it's preventing you from aligning with that knowing that occurred possibly between 0 and 7. Something regarding the 1st to the 7th, or age from the moment of conception to the age of 7. That is coming to your awareness now as that final residue in this final dissolution phase. Will you now be more prepared to handle it with these 2 new moons during this Virgo season, and the second one being at 29 critical degree in Virgo, which is also Leo degree. So it's clearing it from the gut, allowing you to have a strong connection. You've always been connected to your gut instincts, but now you're going to have a stronger connection where you may even find yourself stopping yourself from overextending in situations that you only overextended yourself because you allow the situations in your external environment to have you feeling guilty about it. Where you may even know that that's not somewhere you want to go, but because you don't want someone to feel some type of way, you change your mind. And every time you change your mind, you take yourself off track. Stalling. That could be the push and pull, that tug that that some may feel, where that no that you should have held firm to with boundaries, non-negotiable boundaries. It could possibly show up in a situation at work or in another dynamic of a relationship that is significant to you. But everything is all connected, and it's on some, let's say, you're in this wonderful relationship up until this point. This is just an example, up until this point. And the moment you stand firm on that boundary and saying no, shit might hit the fan in that relationship, because that relationship may be stemming from the energies of you not being firm on those boundaries. See what I'm saying? So when you hear all things are connected, it ain't no joke, but you just have to allow yourself once again to have that full cycle of breath. Start there, because that's where it all is. All your answers are going to be through a full cycle of inhale and exhale till you get to the point of the 0 point frequency between the two, where there's a pause. When you connect to that pause, your ability to responsibility, changes completely. What you see as a responsibility will change as well, because of your ability to respond. It's the fishing trip. A fishing trip is of significance. Yeah, that moment to pause. It allows you to connect to your Akashic library, where now you're able to make the eternal adjustments. Very similar to the vibe of the movie Adjustment Bureau. Rewatch that. Rewatch, or if you haven't, watch Adjustment Bureau. Yeah. Wasn't one of the people in there, I just got chills. Was it one of the people in there named John, though? Let me see. I'm trying to think, see if that was. That's crazy. It's not crazy. That's what's up. Let me see. Actually, Richardson, the character Richardson, his actual name is John. That's the one who was making all the adjustments before Anthony Mackie decided, all right, let me help y'all, cause he ain't gonna let up. Richardson is not gonna let up. Let me see. I wanna look a little bit deeper into that role. His role. Hold on. Let me see. Agent Richardson. Mid-level agent in a mysterious organization known as the Adjustment Bureau. Richardson steps in and kidnaps David Norris in an effort to persuade him to keep quiet after Norris accidentally sees behind the curtain of the Bureau and witnesses one of their adjustments. See, okay. This is what I'm saying. You've been seeing what's unexpected to others. You've been seeing it before it occurs. So, all right. This is literally somebody on some level of Adjustment Bureau type of relationship. This is hilarious. The experience of your life may not have been. Yeah, look, see, dear John, who's the Agent Richardson, and then you got Brotherhood over here. Wait, what? What are you showing me right now? The tension, the reason for the tension and the strain. See? In one's love. Reflection. What the? Okay. Castle, fortress. Is this the one with the? No, it's not the one with the old guard. Staying power. When That collective was the soul that was ready for anything. Keep talking. Tell me more. What are you showing me? Collective was ready for anything, no matter how weary and exhausting it may have been. But old habits, I heard of the bloodline must die hard. Family patterns, yeah. Back in time. Yo. 765 on the screen. Show me. This was, wow. Time traveler. Yeah, some of y'all in here, yeah, you know you're a time traveler. This is certain, this is an energy of someone who has been time traveling, and you're seeing person of water. You're seeing having quite of a bit, few lucid moments there. 765643. Let me see. Yeah, time travel. You can't make that shit up with the map coming out. Read the signs. New perspective. Read the signs. Ooh, yeah, for sure. Multi-dimensional. Invincible spiritual power. What about it? Within a few days, within a few lucid moments. You see that though? Do you see what's happening here though? That's this. That's the star card. Asking what was the reason? How was this relationship the gift? It was designed to connect you to your invincible spiritual power, to be multidimensional, multifaceted. To reconnect to your unconquerable force. Creative force. Because now remember, this Queen of Cups energy, this is a level of spiritual, this is a spiritual inheritance you're receiving. It's also connected to this love as well, where you had to be solid in your spiritual intuitive ways, ability, before this relationship opens up to you, because it has to embody that level of protection and awareness. It's beyond having thick skin, because even if it's thick skin, is it flexible? Can it adjust to situations to the point where the ability to adjust it means that there's an ability to create it? Changing. Yeah, baby. Yes, it is. Okay. All right. Wow. You're changing your family for sure. Your bloodline. What? Let me see. Something. Changing is still there. This is a vibe. To tune up on this message, watch Adjustment Bureau and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below this message. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let's expound on that. That's y'all homework. It's the best homework ever. Yeah, you taking the mask off. Yeah, you're taking the mask off. And 18, that's Moon or Pisces energy, Cancer, Pisces energy. 4, 12, 7. You could be a life path 7. Or your name equates to a 7. Even if that's just the first and last letter of your name. Intuition, yeah, taking the mask over the high levels of intuition. 8, infinite, mask. Let me see. Another 7, good juju. Oh, mighty level. Wow. Look at the 8 right there. Okay, real talk. My beautiful, beloved, cosmic, multi-dimensional being you, time traveler. I'm just confirming exactly what you've been perceiving. Enjoy this moment because, yeah, every situation you experienced that you may have felt was an injustice or against you, the moment you come out of that emotional loop where you're more protective rather than defensive, and when you're protective, there's a lot less experiences you go through that can easily place one into a reactive defense mode. But have that gratitude, not but, just have that gratitude for those experiences because they literally sparked your higher frequency. Again, that's the agreement you made before you came here. 770 on the screen. Literally the agreement you made before you came here. And part of it had to do with soul forgiveness. So those situations, stepping into a level of soul forgiveness. You're going to be connecting with the other side of you. Two sides of the same coin, but with a beautiful integration. Because I noticed that here as well with the Lovers card, that there was 2 people here. The 2 of Cups that was here. And then the Sun card that appeared as we were going through the cards. But those were the 2 children, because this is a child as well. This is a gift you had since you were... Yeah, it was your soul agreement. So, yeah, beyond childhood is from the moment you were conceived. You've always had this invincible, spiritual, dynamic power with the creator of all. The nothingness beyond any labels. Beyond the source beyond any label. To even say nothingness still gives it a label because we're expressing it in words, but you get where I'm going at with this. When you walk around, you glide. You could literally levitate as you walk when you are in this mode of remembering exactly who you are. And how powerful and beautiful you are as well. There's a massive spiritual inheritance on its way to you. Yeah. Yes, it is. For those of you who are also, into divination, that's going to increase. Because notice cards here and cards there. Your craft, the energy behind your craft is going to become much more precise. Something also about your hands, healing hands. You don't even have to touch a person physically. It could just be, it's coming through as even beyond Reiki. It's a form of Reiki, but yeah, okay, so you are someone who's already tapped into that, but it's going to get much stronger. Congratulations, boo. That's what's up. That is what's up. Wow. 2911. Yeah, you can really assist the collective in healing the heart chakra, clearing out grief. Since conception, look. There may have been complications during the time of your birth. Literally. You cosmic baby, you. That title ain't no coincidence, but I don't normally have that as a title. Yeah, see, it came out, intuition. You've awakened the ancestors that haven't been awakened for ages. I mean, maybe not even on this planet, actually. Yeah. You think I'm joking? Look at that. Look what it say. And segment. Oh, baby. Yeah. That's you, all right. Came up in here. Heightening the vibrations. I love that. Gratitude for the vibes. Yeah. Gratitude for intuitive cosmic power. Clear out grief. It's on, okay, your presence on this earth clears out millions that would energetically tap into the essence of violence. Worthiness. Ethiopia could be of significance. Looking into something about the year it is now in Ethiopia. Here in the Americas, because that would be years past here in the Americas. That year that it is, what's the year in Ethiopia right now? Let me see. That year that it is in Ethiopia now is a very significant year now. Ethiopia. This is a vibe right now. Is it 2017 right now? Is that correct? Yes. 2017? 2018. 2018. 2017, 2018, around there. 13 months. Okay, so the galactic signature of today. Let me see something. I'm about to say, no, it ain't. Today is Kin 177, Red Galactic Earth. I harmonize in order to evolve, modeling synchronicity. I seal the matrix of navigation with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of birth. That's also with, okay. Yeah. Love that. Kin 177. Let me see. Let's look a little bit further into this. Wow. Red Earth, as far as galactic signatures, Red Earth is the access point to your natural alignment with Earth Force. It is the Unus Mundi, the point of perfect centeredness. That's also the fifth pillar, the center, what's basically the chakra line, perfectly lit up. It is the Unus Mundi, the point of perfect centeredness in the eternal present from which all alignment and magic manifests. Your center The Earth Center is the secret of gravity's magnetizing force. Red Earth is the channel of harmonic synchronization that is aligned with the galactic heart. From the center point within self, you align with this galactic center and connect through your own crystalline structure to the larger crystal grid network. To keep this channel of synchronization open, connect to the elemental energies of earth, air, fire, and water, and the seven directional guardians. Cosmic consciousness is not just out there, it is also resonating within you. Be sacramentally rooted where you are. You are made of the earth. Look through the eyes in your feet. Your body is the present focus of your consciousness. Through it, all gifts are received. Remember, too, that your environment is alive and reacts to your awareness of it. Your environment is alive and reacts to your awareness of it. Therefore, the way you perceive the earth and your physical form affects the information you receive. The way you perceive the earth and your physical form affects the information you receive. Again, your environment is alive and reacts to your awareness of it. Therefore, the way you perceive the earth and your physical form affects the information you receive. Center yourself in the present moment. This is where you can most beneficially observe the synchronicities and revelations about your personal pattern and larger purpose. From here, your mind can learn to be keenly observant, allowing the larger pattern to take shape as naturally as the small brushstrokes that eventually complete a beautiful painting. Sit in simple relationship to the earth, such as a poet enraptured in a forest. Be rooted where you are now. Out of synergistic centeredness, you will receive your greatest desires and open to the full flowering of the mystic power of the universe. This synchronization can be seen as the alignment of your personal myth with the greater myth of our times. Myth is the framework or story in which the truth of the cosmos is revealed in symbolic form. Utilize it to catalyze your unfolding alignment. By accepting your physical form and your growth process in this world, you access the hub of centeredness out of which all the truth and magic of the universe unfold. Take off your shoes. Touch the one earth. Find a place to dance with the sacred hoop of life. Contribute your vision as an awakened member of the global rainbow family. Red Earth also represents the synergistic workings of destiny that bring people together from common spiritual purposes, as well as the synergy that becomes possible through shared intent. Synergy is the collective expression of individual harmony, the union of different parts in which the whole is exponentially greater than the sum of its parts. When two or more come together in synergy, the resonant vortices between the earth, the galaxies, and the divine archetypal energies are aligned, and all things become possible. The galactic tone is a tone of empowerment, galactic grid, and path of the one heart. It is 8 in the ray of harmonic resonance, which is the foundation of self combined with the current of the Trinity. It is love made visible. Create the form, the flow of harmony in your life. Enter the spiral frequencies of the greater galactic grid. You are being offered empowerment through your innate resonance with this grid. Be aware of where you are drawn, for there you will find unique opportunities. Discover the harmony of being in this natural resonance with others. Be receptive. You are the diviner of harmony, the meeting ground of the physical reality and the infinite. Bring a deeper harmony to the practical circumstances in which you find yourself. Free the ego from its self-centeredness. Embrace the potent energies that are raising the harmonic frequencies of the planet. Breathe easily. You are the song being sung by new golden octave. Sound a resonant tone of the one heart. Mayan Oracle. Return Path to the Stars by Ariel and Michael. Love those transmissions. Beautiful. It's pretty dope. Wow. Followed by Brazen. I see it. 17 again. So that's going to be that's the key code. 1717 or 17 or 771 is the key code for this message, along with Adjustment Bureau and the downloads you have from watching it for the first time or rewatching it. Okay? And also take note while you're watching the numbers that you see within the film and see the way those numbers are resonating with you. And with that, my loves, that is going to be your message for this moment. Shout out to beloved, beautiful Oya. The winds of change and transformation are with you now, my loves. I will see ya next time. Have a blissful one. Stay beautiful and handsome as always. Love you.